Yo, I'm gonna show you how we grew a YouTube channel to over 26,000 subscribers in less than 30 days. And what's really cool is that now they're at 42,000 subscribers. So without further ado, let's go to the studio.
So before I get started, let me address the elephant in the room. I haven't blown up my own channel, but I'm trying to document and teach you guys everything I know when it comes to content creation, because I've been doing this kind of stuff with my clients for the past 2 to 3 years. Now, I just wanted to say my main goal with this channel isn't to go viral as much as is to share my actual knowledge when it comes to content creation, because I do have experience with blowing up a lot of our clients to thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of views as well. Just like how today, I'm gonna be showing you how we pretty much generated 26,000 subscribers in less than 30 days. So this is just a screenshot of one of our, with someone we work with or one of our clients. And you can see from October 12 to November 8, we actually grew them to over 26,000 subscribers. So it's actually less than 30 days, which is pretty cool. You can see here a big jump in subscriber count. So just to give you a little context, before working with us, this particular client, he's been on YouTube for 10 years prior. And he's only reached 2,000, not views, but 2,000 subscribers. So he's been in the YouTube game for a while now, so to speak. And the other thing is he had no TikTok presence, which is really interesting because a lot of people on TikTok were posting a bunch of clips of him reaching millions and millions of views, which was insane. And he didn't know that at the time. And also his Instagram, I believe, was just under less than 200 followers, if so. But I will say the reason why we took on this person to help create content for is because this person or this client was a one-of-a-kind client. So I'll explain more on who he is, but it's really awesome to work with this kind of person. So then 2.5 months worth of content later, the first 2 weeks, first million view video, they reached 10,000 followers on TikTok in less than 3 weeks. And they've also reached 10,000 followers on Instagram in less than 40 days, which is pretty cool. And in 1 month from October to November, as you can see here, he's gained 26,000 subscribers on YouTube and just purely on shorts, which is pretty insane. And he was at a certain point making over $100 a day from just the shorts in a span of a week, right? Which was pretty cool. So where he's at right now, he's currently over at 42,000 subscribers on YouTube. You can see right here. So it's a record breaker rush. Over 65 followers on TikTok, over 20,000 followers on Instagram. So a total of 125,000 followers or subscribers to his brand in 4 months worth of content, which is awesome. And really cool part is that he's got DMs from multiple popular creators in the space. And one creator specifically, I can't really mention it, but one creator specifically with over 10 million subscribers actually invited him to be on his podcast and to create content with, because they saw his content, our client's content on TikTok. So the topic of this video is how we're able to grow this client's YouTube to over 26,000 subscribers and blowing them up even further on the other platforms, and now being at 42,000 subscribers to this day. So how we're able to accomplish this, what makes this such a relatively easy account for us to blow up, is the bottom line is how unique he is. So he is a world record breaker, which is a very rare life experience. Now, before we actually started creating content together, he actually had broken over 200 world records. But honestly, one of the biggest obstacles was that this particular client of ours already shot these content already, right? So he came to us and essentially needed the content to be repurposed and needed to package it up so that we can actually put it on the social media platform. So we needed to find a way to recreate his videos to fit modern editing techniques. So you can kind of see a video right here where I'll play quickly.
It took me 45 hours to break the world record for the most apples sliced on a pogo stick in 1 minute. Of the 270 records I've broken, I rank this one as hard. The previous record was 39 apples sliced. If I fall off the pogo stick, it's over. So to break this record, I needed to start training. First, I needed to learn how to pogo stick, then with no hands. The first pogo stick I bought was way too small.
So yeah, that was the very first video we've edited for him. You can kind of see that we really emphasize on the editing, and we helped him with the scripting as well on how to deliver that kind of Mr. Beast-esque voiceover. The next key part about being able to accomplish such great results is that we were posting on YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok as well on a daily to weekly basis. And then finally, we were testing different script templates. So the first month, we were testing out our first variation of a script. But on the second month, we actually re-scripted or restructured his script because we watched a video on how a creator named Jenny Hoyas created her viral videos. And I'll go over a little bit on how she does that and how we applied it to our client right here. So going into this, we actually leverage a thing called the measures of virality. These are 10 different categories that will help us determine whether or not a client will go viral. And this is all thanks to our friend Jamie Lee, who also runs a similar agency than us. And he put this together and showed it to us. And ever since then, we've been kind of applying this measurement to anyone who wanted to create content and wanted to essentially blow up. So the first one is the environment in which the content is being shot, the unique look, sex appeal, the measurable credibility. So how much of an expertise you are, the speaking ability, how interesting is your niche, rare life experience, controversial takes, editing, and cinematography. So these are the 10 measures of virality. So with this, we've leveraged for our client 4 things: the measurable credibility, so how credible the person is, how rare their life experience is. So with our client specifically, we know that he broke over 200 world records, and I can safely say that there's no one else on earth who can do what he does, right? As well as a unique look. And of course, we leverage great editing to tell that story of how he broke a certain world record. Now, I wanted to go into the biggest game changer when it comes to blowing up my clients' videos was the scripting of the video. And now the script was directly inspired from a creator named Jenny Hoyas, and the way she structured her video felt like it was the perfect fit for this kind of content that our client was putting out. So before we go into the structure of the short form, we want to look into what makes a good short. So obviously the number one thing is a strong hook. Now when it comes to making a good short, the first thing to look at is having a strong hook. And when it comes to strong hooks, right, for our client, obviously he's broken so many different records. We could leverage him saying something like, I've broken the world record of juggling, of the longest time I've juggled, but we wanted to take a step further and think the visual first, right? So a visual hook is what's really going to move that needle, especially nowadays, because you need to find a way where you could be as unique as possible. A great creator that does awesome visual hooks is a creator named Lau. So I'm going to pop up one of his videos on the first 3 seconds and want to show you how freaking cool his visuals are.
Is this the best mic? Nowadays, there's so many options with shotgun mics, wireless mics, dynamic, condenser, scratch all that. Just tell me what's the easiest to use.
So you can see from this video right here, it's not just a straight on shot, it's an overhead shot or a top shot angling down, and then it was very fast paced with the equipment. So that's an example of a very great visual hook. The next thing is, can it be understood without audio? Now what I mean by this is obviously have subtitles in there, but also have a way to tell the story using the visuals. So for our client, since he's broken so many records, and with every record he's broken, he was able to document the whole process with his camera and multiple different camera angles. So we were able to utilize those camera angles. And finally, it has to be explained to a 5-year-old. So what I mean by this is when you script out a video, since we're catering this to shorts or short form content, one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone uses complicated words in their shorts, because it takes a lot longer for someone to process what you're trying to say if you're using all these fancy schmancy words. So when we do script out, we use a thing called a readability tracker, which essentially you can just upload your script in here. Once you put your script in here, it will reveal what kind of reading level it is. So we always try to aim for 3rd to 4th grade reading level. In the case where your script is at a pretty high reading level, you can always chuck it into ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT to make it a 3rd grade reading level. So that is a quick tip. All right, so moving on to the short form content structure and how you can start creating viral videos using short form. So the first one is obviously your hook, which can be explained with your why in a compelling way. So this is your overall topic of the video and the reason as to why you are making this video. I'll give you an example of 2 really great hooks. Now, when it comes to hooks, you also want to be as specific as possible and use grand numbers if you can. So an example for a dating coach would be, I've been on over 1,000 dates with women. In my opinion, I think that's a pretty compelling hook because, 1,000 dates with women, that's a lot. You would want to think, why did this person go on 1,000 dates? Or if you're a sales coach, for example, you can say something like, I've closed over $10 million in sales in the past 2 years. So the key thing to know here is $10 million. So that's a pretty big number when it comes to sales and in the past 2 years. So the viewers are thinking, wow, in the past 2 years, this person closed this much money. How did they do this? It essentially sets up the video, right? Now, moving on after the hook is the foreshadow. So this is what the viewers can expect at the end. And also mechanism. So what a mechanism is setting the viewer's expectation. And with this, you must have a clear beginning to end. So I'll give you an example. With Mr. Beast, he loves to do these last to leave the circle and they win X amount of money. So the last to leave the circle wins $100. So the mechanism there is that the circle is closing. So you can clearly tell here that there is a beginning to end because you will expect that the circle is closing and there will end up being one person in that circle and there's ultimately a winner. Now I hope that kind of makes sense. I'm pretty bad at explaining things, but I'm gonna move on to the next example. So the next example is, I've closed over $10 million in sales in the past 2 years, and here's how to get a 45% closing ratio. So the mechanism here is that what you're about to give is actionable advice because the end goal for the viewer is, after they watch the video, they can expect their closing ratio to reach 45%. The next one is a transition, and this is where you need a pacing break without the pace actually breaking. So here's an example. I've closed over $10 million in sales in the past 2 years, and here's how to get a 45% closing ratio, starting off with the first piece of advice. So you can see from this part right here to the next sentence, you can see that there's a pacing break, but the pace isn't actually breaking. An example of when the pace breaks is if you said something like, I've closed over $10 million in sales in the past 2 years, and here's how to get a 45% closing ratio. Number 1. There's this weird break where you go from closing ratio to saying number 1. It doesn't flow as well. I don't really know how to explain it, but bottom line is the transition is going from the hook to the actual meat of the content. You need to have a way where it flows smoothly. And then the next part is but therefore storytelling. So in the meat of the body, you need to have lots of change in the story. Uses conflict, tension, and rising action to make the story more compelling. And then at the end, you want to have an immediate payoff. A lot of people make a mistake where at the end of the video, they say something like, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe or like or whatever the case may be. On a short, on a long form content, that's totally fine. But on a short, it's a lot more punishable. These platforms really reward you on the watch retention. If you see a huge dip at the end, then it's gonna really affect the performance of your video. So it's better off to just have the immediate payoff and then end the video right away. Or you can have a really, really short CTA if you're someone that's trying to funnel people into a booking link or a community, whatever the case may be. You just need to have that ending. So I'll give you an example of a but therefore storytelling. So a boring example is I went on a walk, it started raining, then I went back home, right? A good example would be I went on a walk, but it started raining, therefore I started running back home and it was raining all over me, but good thing I got an umbrella, right? You can see that I'm using the word but, I'm using the word therefore. There's things in place where it flows really smoothly with the script. You can see the difference between this kind of script and the boring script right here. That's how we got our client to grow to 26,000 subscribers in less than 30 days using this exact framework when it comes to short form content. So if you want to learn more about content creation, please subscribe, like, and comment. Now check out the community, which is linked down below, which is a school group called the Content Incubator, where we help coaches, consultants, and online business owners streamline their content and create, viral content as well. So I'll see you in the next video.